Can you really drop your utility bill in the middle of summer?
Yep, we just did it.
Hi, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
What we would like to do in this video is share with you how we found out that our utility bill was going to be extra high this month and what we did to lower that utility bill. We'll give you our exact plan and we'll show you charts from our real utility bill and our real utility usage.
We regularly keep an eye on our utility bill. Our utility company gives us an estimate as the billing process goes on. It estimates what the final bill would be at the end of the month during that cycle. So this gives us a good indication of where we're heading with how much energy that we're using. On June 20th, and that was 8 days into our billing cycle, we noticed that the projected bill was going to be up to $255. That was way more than we were expecting to have to pay.
So the first thing we did was to set a goal. If you're not aiming at something, you'll never hit it.
That's right.
For us, we decided that $200 or under was what we were going to look at achieving, and we knew that we had about 25 days or so left in the billing cycle to make that happen.
Hope did create a game plan, and we both kind of worked on this together. But first, we want to show you exactly what we did and how it worked as we were tracking these items.
5 days after we started the game plan for lowering the energy usage, we had saved $18.79. Our projected bill had been lowered by that much, which was an average of $3.76 a day. You will notice that on the last of those 5 days, the usage dropped a lot. That's because the heat wave broke just enough that we were able to turn off the air conditioner for a few days. Now, whenever we do one of these videos where we talk about saving on energy, inevitably, there are some people in the comment section that say the only reason you saved money is because you turned off your central air. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at another chart that shows 3 days past when we started implementing these changes. You're going to see from that we were also able to save money. We were able to save $7.21 in 3 days. That means that that's about $2.40 a day that we were dropping the usage, even with the air conditioning still being on. Now, for those of you who say $2.40 a day, that's not that big of a deal. So if you're saying that, send me $2.41 for the next 365 days, because you will be writing me a check for over $700.
Yeah.
Never, ever underestimate the power of small savings.
Yeah.
If we apply that $2.40 to the $18, a little over $18, $18.79 that we saved in 5 days, let's just subtract it. So $2.40 times 5 is $12. I'll give you that. We'll take that $12 off.
Yep.
And that means that for that one day, that first day that we stopped using our air conditioning, that air conditioning, with all things being equal, was costing us $6.79 to run for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I want you to remember that number. That's just shy of $7. Remember that, because it's going to come in handy in just a sec.
Stay with us, because we are going to show you our final bill and how much of this energy we were able to capture over the savings period.
If you're watching, you're thinking, I would love to lower my energy bill. Like, not just in the summer, like 365 days a year. I would like to pay less than I'm paying right now for my energy bill. But maybe you need something that's like just a jumpstart guide, a quick list of ideas that's going to help you get started and going in the right direction. You can request our free energy savings guide. I walk you through each room of your home, and I give you ideas and ways that you can save energy in those specific rooms of your home. It's free, and I'm going to make sure that it's listed in the description of the video for you.
Now, as a tool to use along with the plan that our energy company showed us in terms of how much energy we're using each hour, each day, Hope decided to start creating a diary. This is an energy use diary that shows whenever we turned on an appliance that used a little bit of power, she wrote down the time that we started it and the time that we stopped it. So she used the microwave or the coffee pot or the crock pot or anything else that used power. We had a record of it, so we could now match that up to the spikes in the chart from our energy company.
This was a game changer.
It was,
you guys. It
yeah.
really, truly was.
Yeah.
It allowed me to pretty definitively
Yeah.
look at the spikes in usage on that specific day and match those spikes up with the diary that I'd kept throughout that day of what I was using that was utilizing energy throughout the day. This was fantastic in being able to give us a good idea of what we would like to change. For instance, we figured out that the crock pot, believe it or not, it doesn't use that much energy, but it uses it over 4 to 6 to 8 hours. And when that cumulative time is figured up, then it does spike the energy usage. There were other, like the coffee pot, we knew that that was definitely driving up energy.
It wasn't using a ton, but it was using some extra energy. Yeah.
Doing the laundry.
Yeah.
We have been huge proponents for years of making sure that you do full loads. And this is why, when you see that spike right in the middle of the day where I put 2 loads of laundry through, that was a lot of energy being used.
Mm-hmm. Hey, if you're finding this helpful, please give the video a like. That helps kind of spread it around and get it distributed nicely for other viewers who also might benefit. And if you're not part of the Frugal family, we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel. That way you'll get notifications on our videos in the future.
This next step that we took is also one that is hugely underrated. Unplugging stuff. Now, we're pretty energy conscious around here anyway, but there were a few things that when we walked around the house, we went, oh, well, that's plugged in. That does not need to be plugged in anymore. Our printer is a good example.
Right.
It uses something called phantom power. If you're unfamiliar with that term phantom power, it's things that have a remote or have
They're
a
wireless.
clock.
Anything that's wireless.
Yeah, all those are like ready on. And what that means is it's constantly using just a little bit of power to make sure that when you want it, it's ready to go right away. Unplug all of those items.
That means coffee pots, microwave ovens, anything like that. It'll be amazing how much that'll save you. You actually can save as much as what percentage?
10%.
10%.
Experts tell you up to 10%. It depends on how many items you have that use phantom power, but it can be up to 10% of your utility bill. So go through, unplug.
Right. Now we do have some portable power stations, and some of these are fairly big units. They might run 1,300, 1,400 watts of power that can be supplied to an item. So when we had to do the laundry, we have a gas dryer, and that means it does use power to run the drum. So we hooked that up to the power station and ran that off of that, so that's going to save us electricity. The other thing that Hope did, she did some cooking with her crock pot. She plugged that into one of the portable power stations. When we're done using the power station, then we can charge it using the solar panels that we put outside, and it's free to use, so that's keeping the power off of the utility.
Now, for those of you who are wondering, yes, normally we hang things out on a line in our backyard. It was like a weird situation where Philip came home from work and he needed his uniform like right away. And we're like, fine, we'll do a load of laundry and we will dry your uniform so you can have it in time to go to work. So it was like one of those weird emergency situations. But we figured out a way around using more power than we had to by using the portable power station with the dryer. And that's one of the tips that we would give you. Never feel like you are stuck. No. You are only stuck if you believe that you're stuck. What you need to do is figure out workarounds.
One of the areas that we tend to overlook is lighting. Now, I know lighting doesn't cost as much as it used to because for the most part, we're all using the LED bulbs, and they only use about 8 watts, 9 watts, something like that per bulb. But still, every little bit adds up. And there's another way that you can supply lighting to a room.
You can go to Dollar Tree and get those stake lights that are solar powered and charge them outside in the sunlight, bring them in the evening. You can do that. Now, we had a viewer that said she bought some of those inexpensive lights, brought them in, did not realize that when they get low on power, they start flashing. The other problem that I've discovered with this methodology is the fact that those cheaper lights don't tend to recharge in a windowsill. And we have discovered something that works super well for us.
Well, and those cheaper lights need direct sun. So what you'd end up doing is having to take them out and put them in your yard and let them charge directly off the sun. We have a company that we like so well. They're from Utah. It's called Hybrid Light, and they make these solar-powered flashlights. These are the solar panel on the back. You leave these in your windowsill, and they automatically charge up. But if you want to charge them, you can plug these in. See, this has a plug-in. It'll charge right into AC. So this is one of their lights, and another one is a lantern, and this is really good. This has a solar panel right on top, and once again you put this in your windowsill, and look at that, it's all charged and ready to go, and that puts out a very bright light. You can put those on and kind of supplement the lighting that you use offline to save some money on your utility bill.
These were not free samples, by the way. We did purchase these, but after we purchased them and liked them so well, we contacted the company and we said, is there a way you can give us a discount code for our Under the Medium viewers? And they said, absolutely. So if you look in the description of this video, you're going to find a link to Hybrid Light, and you're also going to find a discount code that will get you 20% off your purchase.
One of the things, as we're doing some reading, we decided to do was turn our AC up to 80 degrees. Now, that doesn't sound like you're cooling your house off very much, because we're kind of used to maybe 75 degree temperatures, something more like that. But in order to turn your AC up to 80 degrees, if you put some fans on in the room that you're in, that will keep you cool and very comfortable, and we've been doing that. Now, a fan does not use a lot of power. The fan that we use in our living room is this tower fan, and it only uses about 24 watts. So that can save you a lot of money on your AC.
How much does it cost to run fans? Because this is another comment that we've consistently gotten is, well, by the time you run all those fans, you're probably using as much energy and it's not saving you anything by having your AC off or turning it way up. To run the fan, just the fan in our living room, we could run it 8 hours a day, 30 days a month, at 15 cents a kilowatt hour. It will cost us 91 cents for the entire month of running that fan.
How about that?
Now, remember I told you to remember how much it costs on average to run our AC, 24 hours? $6.79. There is
difference.
Absolutely no comparison between the amount of energy it takes to run a fan and the amount of energy it takes to run a central air conditioning unit. Now, I understand that you may have one that's more highly efficient. You might have just a window unit. Your house may be made of something other than ours is 6-inch brick. You might have a wood frame house. Everything has variables. I'm talking about just on average and our personal experience, it's a lot less to run fans. Statistically, experts tell you, if you will raise your AC and use fans, you can raise that AC up to 4 degrees with no noticeable loss of comfort when you're using fans in the rooms you're sitting in.
Another item that you need to pay close attention to in terms of what you're using to cool your house down is heating items, things that you're cooking on the stove. Anything that you cook on the stove, let's say on the burner of your stove, can also throw heat into your house. So if you have another way to cook it, maybe outside or charcoal grill it or something, consider that so you're not heating your house at the same time you're cooking something.
One of the things that I started implementing was twice a week cooking. It took me 2 or 3 hours maybe in one evening to cook enough food for 3 days. And then I would do it again 3 days later. And the whole idea was to cook things that did not heat up the house and didn't use appliances which utilized a lot of energy. Now, if you want to know like what appliances use the most energy in your kitchen, we did a whole video on it and we tested 4 different appliances. I'm going to make sure that video is listed up above. I'll also put a link in the description of the video.
One of the keys to saving money on electricity is knowing exactly how much each item that you have is using in terms of your power consumption. This is a nice device. We've had this for years and years now. This is a kilowatt meter. You simply plug this into the wall, plug your item in here, and flip the little switch that says watts. This will show you how many watts the item is using, and it can tell you whether it's efficient and good to be using or not. It also has a kilowatt per hour button, and this will tell you over time how much that item is using. So if you want to leave it plugged in for 8 hours and determine how much in 8 hours you've used, it will tell you that too. Very handy. It just tells you exactly what you're doing.
If you're checking an item with a heating element, leave that kilowatt meter plugged in until it has completely finished cooking whatever it is that you're cooking. Because we discovered that our Instant Pot may use upwards of close to 1,000 watts when it first comes on, but as soon as it comes up to pressure, the pressurized part of the cooking, it goes down to 0. So if it's a heating element, it's going to come off and on and off and on. So it will vary. So you're not going to use, if I'm using it for half an hour, then it's not using that whole 1,000 watts for the entire half-hour period. So just be aware of that. If it's something that has a heating element on it, you want to leave it plugged in for a little while to check it.
One of the keys in this whole video of saving money over the time with your utilities is making sure that you're paying attention to little amounts of money. That's how we started doing this. Little amounts of money we were saving per day adds up to quite a bit each month, and even a pretty good amount over a year's time. So every little thing that you do to save money counts.
What we wind up with at the end of the billing period. We haven't received our final bill yet, but it's like 2 days away, so we're pretty certain we're right in the ballpark of what it's going to cost us. We were able to lower the bill in 25 days to $182. So we were way underneath what our goal was, and we were super excited. That means we were able to lower the bill by $74 in 25 days. That means that we cut our average amount that we were paying per day in utilities by 30%. Maybe your utility bill is just one of the areas of your budget that is truly giving you concerns. What you may need to do is a budget review. We just did one, and we show you our actual budget numbers and how we decided that we were going to flex and we were going to change our game plan for the rest of 2024 when it came to how much money we were saving and how much money we were spending. That video, I think you'll find it super helpful. It's right over there.